The priest in the Bible. With no father or mother, long before great nations ruled the earth, before temples rose in Jerusalem, and centuries before kings sat on Israel's throne, the world was a wild and dangerous place. In those days, powerful kings fought constantly for territory, wealth, and control. Small cities often became trapped between rival armies. One day, a terrible war broke out among several kings in the region. 4 powerful kings from the east invaded the land of Canaan and defeated 5 local kings who ruled the cities of the valley. Among those cities was the wicked city of Sodom. When the invaders defeated Sodom, they carried away everything of value: gold, livestock, and prisoners. Among the captives was a man named Lot. Lot was not just another prisoner. He was the nephew of Abraham. And when news of this reached Abraham, everything changed. When Abraham heard that his nephew had been taken captive, he did not hesitate. Though he was a man of peace, Abraham was also a leader with courage and wisdom. He quickly gathered 318 trained men born in his household. These were not ordinary servants. They were warriors loyal to their master. Under the cover of night, Abraham led his small army in pursuit of the invading kings. Against all odds, Abraham attacked their camp. The battle was fierce and chaotic in the darkness. But the surprise attack worked. The powerful kings who had defeated entire cities were suddenly overwhelmed. Their armies scattered, and Abraham achieved the impossible. He rescued the captives, recovered the stolen goods, and brought Lot safely home. But as Abraham returned from this victory, something extraordinary happened. Someone unexpected came out to meet him. As Abraham approached the region near the ancient city of Salem, a figure appeared. He was not a soldier. He carried no weapon. Instead, he wore the robes of both a king and a priest. His name was Melchizedek. The Bible describes him as the King of Salem and priest of the Most High God. Salem is widely believed to be the ancient city that later became Jerusalem. But what makes this moment so remarkable is that this priest appears suddenly in the story, without introduction, without explanation. He simply walks into the scene. And what he brings with him is even more surprising. Instead of bringing weapons or soldiers, Melchizedek brought bread and wine. In the ancient world, offering bread and wine was a sign of peace, hospitality, and blessing. But to later readers of the Bible, this moment carries a deeper meaning. Bread and wine would one day become powerful symbols of covenant and sacrifice. Standing before Abraham, the mysterious priest lifted his voice and pronounced a blessing. Melchizedek said, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand." This blessing acknowledged something important. Abraham's victory had not come from military strength alone. It had come from the power of God. And then something unexpected happened. Abraham, the man chosen by God, the man who had just defeated mighty kings, did something remarkable. He bowed in respect, and he gave Melchizedek a tenth of everything he had recovered from the battle. This act is the first recorded tithe in the Bible. But it raises an important question. Why would Abraham honor this man so greatly? Who was Melchizedek? In the ancient world, genealogy meant everything. A person's authority, identity, and inheritance were all connected to their family line. Kings traced their ancestry. Priests proved their legitimacy through genealogy. But the Bible does something very unusual with Melchizedek. It tells us nothing about his parents, nothing about his birth, nothing about his death. His story appears suddenly, and then disappears just as quickly. Centuries later, the New Testament reflects on this mystery. In the book of Hebrews, Melchizedek is described in astonishing terms. The writer of Epistle to the Hebrews describes Melchizedek like this: without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life. Those words shocked many readers. Every priest in Israel had to prove their ancestry. Yet Melchizedek's priesthood seemed to exist outside of normal history. His story feels almost timeless. And that mystery caused many scholars and believers to wonder, was Melchizedek simply a historical king whose ancestry was never recorded? Or was he something more? Hundreds of years after Abraham lived, a surprising prophecy appeared. In the book of Psalms, a future king was described with these words: "You are a priest forever in the order of Melchizedek." This prophecy suggested that Melchizedek represented a priesthood unlike any other, not temporary, not limited by genealogy, but eternal. Later Christians would see this as a powerful reference to Jesus Christ, a king and a priest, just like Melchizedek. The strange thing about Melchizedek is how briefly he appears. Only a few verses describe him, yet his presence echoes across the entire Bible. He blesses Abraham. He receives honor from the father of faith, and his priesthood becomes a symbol of something far greater. A priesthood not based on ancestry, but on divine appointment. Thousands of years later, the mystery still remains. Who exactly was Melchizedek? A historical king of ancient Salem? A symbol pointing to something greater? Or a divine figure sent by God for a brief moment in history? The Bible does not give a final answer. But one thing is clear. Even Abraham, the father of nations, recognized something extraordinary in this mysterious priest. And that moment has fascinated readers of the Bible ever since.